You know, among the many things you got to like about that Jane Klaus is she's always trying to make us healthier.
I'm trying my best. Live a healthy life.
She saw this app she liked called the Zensory. And she said, well, we got to talk about this. And I said, well, look into it over the weekend while I'm being unhealthy.
I know. That's why I do all this, Steve. It's for you. I want you to just have a little bit more focus, a little bit more mindfulness. You know what the crutch word?
Well, but I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I want to start with Jasmine Eskenzi, who I believe if she's not the full founder, she's the co-founder. I just know she's relaxed and healthy. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Nice to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. It's a real pleasure to be on here today.
I love your voice. Mindfulness. It's a word we hear all the time now. What does it mean?
Yeah, what does mindfulness mean? Really, it just means kind of being centered and being aware of the environment that we're in to come into a place of stillness and calmness to kind of be functioning at our best, really.
So I feel like mindfulness, it's like the crutch word. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be more mindful today. We actually don't practice being mindfulness. But what I love, Jasmine, is this new word. Instead of mindfulness, you're calling it sustainable performance. That's the same thing. And you said people need to be able to practice sustainable performance. So you said, I'm going to create an app. Why did you do that?
Yeah, great question. So my background was actually in health tech. So I was working with UK Parliament on extending life expectancy. So, like the blue zones, why are people living to 100? How can we help people live to 100? And in the frontline healthcare sector in the UK, I was seeing burnout everywhere. I was also seeing it in my generation of people in their 20s. And my mom was seeing it in her generation of people in their 50s. And so together we were like, we have to do something. And we realized a lot of meditation is quite difficult for people to do. It's 10, 20 minutes out of your day. We looked into how we can do things, in just 3 minutes or while you're working or while you're on the move. And that's really where we started to look into, mindfulness and sense hacking, which is using your senses to get you into states of either focus or relaxation. And it's been a really exciting journey of speaking to neuroscientists all over the world as to how we can do that, really, and help people kind of create that stepping stone towards a healthier life, but make it really easy to do so it's not overwhelming and difficult in such a fast-paced world.
I'm distracted by how much I love your voice.
I knew you would be.
Your voice is amazing. It really is.
She's not up early. She's in London.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm up early.
Yes.
Jasmine Eskenzi, the Zensory is the app. Download it right now. But Jasmine, I want to talk about something else, too. I remember a book I read not that long ago. I guess it has been a little bit. But Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And the whole point of The Power of Now is focus on what's happening right now. You can't change a minute of the past, but what you do right now will change the future. Is that part of thinking this way? Staying in the moment, in other words.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think, I've been lucky enough to have worked with people from CEOs to students to doctors, and that's a real issue. Is when you're in these high-stress environments like many of us are, it's exactly that. It's bringing ourselves into the present moment and kind of getting us away from this fight or flight space. And actually, it's interesting because it takes the brain, when you're in a state of stress, it takes the brain only 6 seconds to get out of it. And that's through doing things like breathing, which I'll explain shortly. But, even just taking a deep breath for, a few deep breaths for 6 seconds, that can transport you from high stress to a state of balance again. And it's exactly that. It's kind of bringing yourself into the now so you're not in that space of high stress and overwhelm, and you're not keeping yourself unnecessarily in that state for longer than you need to be.
It's like that fight or flight space that you get into and you get all stressed out and worried, but it's everybody can stand a chance to be a little bit more focused, whether we're driving in a car, working from home, maybe we're retired, but there's always a reason to stay more focused. And you've done the research for that to be true. Talk a little bit about what people can do if they don't have the app. Is it breathing? Is it pressure points? Is it listening to soothing music? Are all of those factors?
Jasmine, because Jane came in, she started pressing on top of my head.
I did. I love the creative pressure point right in the center of your head.
That's exactly it. I mean, if you've got consent to do that, so colleagues, feel free to go ahead. do that. That's great. Wonderful.
Yeah. I said, what are you doing? She goes, I'm pressing your head. Your head's huge. I'm pressing it.
You got to be more creative. This is where I press you.
And did it help? Did it help?
Yeah, I feel very relaxed. Weird, but very relaxed.
No, but can we do some of those tricks and tips just on our own to be more mindful and focused?
Definitely. So for focus, I'd always recommend something called box breathing. So ultimately, you're imagining that you're drawing a box with your breath. So you're inhaling for 4 seconds. You're holding the breath for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, and then holding for 4 seconds. So if you can do that for even just a few minutes of your day, that will get you into this really nice state of balance because you're balancing the nervous system. And it's kind of just that symmetrical breath. So that is a great trick you can do wherever you are at any point, and that will help you get into a state of focus. So that's one thing, is box breathing. Another is cognitive offloading or brain dumping.
I love this. I want people to hear this. This is
Steve
my
does this
favorite.
every morning at 5:30.
This is the description of the show. Yes. This is the elevator pitch for the show. What do, Steve? I brain dump. I take everything in my head and I dump it out for the listeners.
This is why you're so mindful.
What is brain dumping?
So brain dumping is where, you've got to-do lists on your mind. You've got things that you're thinking about, ideas, etc. If you can put time in the day when you wake up, midday, at the end of the day, just to get it all off your mind, then you're kind of giving yourself more headspace to think clearly. So you get a piece of paper, you put a time on for 5 minutes, and you just write as much as you possibly can, get it off your mind, and then you'll be able to think more clearly, basically. And once you've done that, you can then look at everything you've written down and see what are those top 3 things that align with where you want to be that month or at the end of that quarter or the end of the year. And that will help you prioritize if anything on that list or that kind of brain dump is really essential to you. It can help you kind of prioritize and go, oh, actually, there's not so much that I needed to do. It's just those top 3 things, and it helps you cut through the noise, basically.
Is there a genetic split with this? In other words, gender, I should say gender, not genetic. A gender split with this, as in, because, here's the deal. And this is not, I'm not being flip here. But a woman needs to speak more words in a given day than a man. It's been scientifically proven.
I don't know.
No, absolutely. So for men, it seems to me a healthy tip for a man in a healthy relationship would be allow your lady, whoever your lady might be, to brain dump. And then for a lady to accept that your man's brain dumping won't be as voluminous, but they'll both be important.
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe she's just agreeing with you.
You think Jasmine's just being polite?
I'm just
there?
wondering if I could brain dump and then throw that piece of paper out, because it's going to be a lot of gibberish, garbly goo.
Can I tell you that you brain dump every day too?
I always brain dump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's so great. I have so many pieces of paper at home. But I never knew that was a great way to stay focused. One of the things I will tell you this is, falling asleep on a Sunday night, there's no way. My mind is racing. I got to-do lists. I did use the Zensory app last night.
A couple nights. You paid the price.
No, I slept. I listened to some.
You did use it.
I used it.
Okay,
I listened to the binaural beats and some ocean waves because So that the distraction of all those little voices that are the to-do list in your head, those beats help you?
Yeah, exactly. So the way that binaural beats work is that using headphones, you get exposed to slightly different frequencies in either ear. And for example, it could be like 100 hertz in one ear and 104 hertz in the other ear. And your brain goes, oh, there's a 4 hertz difference here. And your brain starts to create that resonance. And that is the same kind of thing as your brain being in a gamma or alpha or beta state. So it's kind of replicating the brainwave frequency of focus or sleep or relaxation. So binaural beats are a really good way to kind of like hack the brain to get into that state quicker than it would. So exactly, like as you said, Jane, you can use it for sleep. So you can kind of, put on a certain frequency to help you get into sleep, and it will kind of induce the brain into that state.
So brilliant and scientific, and this lovely English accent, and I'm looking at the Zensory here. You and your sister are co-founders. You're beautiful young ladies. I don't want to be a creep here. Can I meet your mom? Congratulations on the Zensory. Download it. Get it.
Everybody
get
can
the
use
app.
It. Yeah.
And also, if I've put a code for you, so if you want your listeners want a code for 10% off, it's WLS890. They just put that in the code section. They'll get 10% off everything.
Thank you,
Amazing.
Jasmine. Very nice. We will remind folks of that.
I love it.
I like your giggle, too. All right, hang up. Stop distracting me.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Tell your mother to call me. Goodbye.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
See, focus. Just focus.
Just very, very, very attractive personality.
When you listen sometimes to the soothing messages on the app, there's all these different things on the app. Whatever you pick, there's a voice, and I want to ask, is that her voice? I'm not sure, but there is a lovely English voice on the app.
Yeah, like I said, I want to meet her mom.
Yeah.